He was an amazing guy. I looked up to him because his tenacity for life was unprecedented.
Rich Newton's brother Mark was more than a sibling. He was his hero, whose memory he holds on to in every way he can. Their time together cut short because Mark was infected with contaminated blood while being treated for haemophilia, in one of the biggest scandals in British medical history. He contracted HIV before dying at the age of 24, a loss his loved ones struggled to live with.
I came home from school and it's very strange. My grandfather was there and my other brother Nick was at home too. And it was very strange for them to be there during the week. And my gut instinct was something had happened to Mark.
35 years on, the details of that day are still raw.
They were saying, "It's okay, Rich, Mum and Dad are with Mark." And I just kept pleading with them to come and say goodbye. And then the phone rang and it was the news that Mark had died. And then I knew I couldn't say goodbye to him.
Last year saw the end of a public inquiry and the promise of a government-funded compensation scheme for those affected and their loved ones. But as it stands, siblings aren't entitled to that if they didn't directly care for or live in the same house as their relative 2 years after they're infected, or if they're not eligible for receiving money from property. Currently under the proposed scheme, Richard wouldn't receive compensation, but the scheme may consider individual applications.
Does my brother stop becoming my brother in under 2 years? Does my brother stop becoming my brother because of my address?
A lawyer who has worked with thousands of infected blood victims says the government need to keep the scheme under review and ensure those who could be eligible don't miss out.
Payments will start rolling out before Christmas, and I think that will be the time when you can reach a decision as to how well this is working. But insofar as Richard's case is concerned, there is more scope. The extent of that scope is very difficult to predetermine.
A government spokesperson said, "No amount of compensation can fully address the suffering as a result of this scandal, but we are doing everything possible to deliver life-changing sums to people infected and affected." While we can't comment on individual cases, the compensation scheme does make provisions for siblings in a range of circumstances to apply. Even with plans in place, at the heart of this saga is prolonged pain and broken trust.
To this day, the one thing that really hurts me is that nobody is listening to my story. Nobody.
After decades of hurt, those impacted by the tainted blood scandal don't just want compensation. They want to continue to be heard. Shingi Marike, Sky News.